May 4th, 2018, 4:12 in the morning, Interstate 40, just outside Flagstaff, Arizona. A long white freight truck moved through the quiet desert highway. Its engine hummed in the darkness. The sky was still black. Only a thin line of pale blue sat on the horizon. The world was not awake yet. Most drivers were still hours from the road. But one truck was already in motion. Inside that truck was cargo worth $120 million. The driver was a man named David Harper. No one knew that this morning would be the last time anyone saw him. David Harper was born into a working-class neighborhood. His father worked in a steel plant. His mother worked in a small grocery store. Their home was small. Their life was simple. David grew up quiet. Teachers said he did not talk much. But he watched everything. He remembered small details. He learned fast by observation, not by speaking. At age 14, he began working at a repair shop. He cleaned tools. Then he learned to repair spark plugs, then engines. Machines made sense to him. They were honest. They did what they were designed to do. No lies, no hidden meanings. After high school, he tried college for 1 year, but he left. He said it felt pointless. He wanted to work. He wanted to move, not to sit in classrooms. At age 20, he earned his commercial driver's license. He began driving long-haul freight across the United States. For years, he drove the same highways, east to west, north to south. He memorized routes, fuel stations, rest stops, and way stations. He knew how to fix almost any truck problem himself. He avoided attention. He never broke rules. He was invisible on the road. He lived alone. No wife, no children, no close friends. Just work and quiet. This made him the perfect driver. In 2014, David was hired by Atlas Logistics, a large freight company that transported high-value shipments. They liked him instantly. He had a perfect driving record. He had no criminal history, no debt, no addictions, no trouble. He arrived early. He followed instructions. He never complained. He never socialized much, but he was trusted. Atlas Logistics transported many types of cargo: electronics, luxury goods, pharmaceuticals, and sometimes private security transfers. These shipments had no public records. Their contents were only known to a few people. David became one of the few drivers approved for such transfers. By 2017, he was one of the company's most reliable high-value freight drivers. But his life outside work remained the same. One-bedroom apartment, no social life, no hobbies besides reading repair manuals and maps. His neighbors barely noticed him. To most, he looked like a simple man who lived a simple life. But that was only the surface. May 3rd, 2018. 11:35 p.m. Atlas Logistics Regional Distribution Hub, Albuquerque, New Mexico. David arrived at the warehouse. The building was bright. Forklifts moved crates. Night shift workers drank coffee to stay awake. Security cameras watched everything. A private security officer checked IDs at the entrance. David signed in. He was assigned truck number 47A. His route would take him from the distribution hub in New Mexico to a secure receiving facility in Reno, Nevada. The cargo manifest listed the goods as high-value restricted electronics. The paperwork was sealed. Only 2 people knew the true value inside that sealed trailer: the security supervisor and David Harper. The trailer held military-grade microchips used in aerospace defense systems. These components were small but extremely rare. Their production lines were limited. Countries had to wait years to get access to them. Their total value, $120 million. This was not ordinary cargo. This was cargo nations would pay anything to get. David inspected the truck. He checked tire pressure, fuel levels, trailer locks, engine temperature, brake fluid, transmission, oil, coolant. He worked with calm focus. He always did. At 12:07 a.m., he left the warehouse. Everything appeared normal. The route was simple: west on Interstate 40, north on US 95, into Reno by evening, a straight line across open desert and mountain terrain. David followed speed limits. He stopped at a fuel station outside Gallup at 2:43 a.m. He bought black coffee, no sugar, no food. Security logs confirmed his location, nothing unusual. Then he continued driving. No other stops, no delays, no calls, no warnings, until 4:12 a.m. Traffic cameras recorded the truck passing mile marker 312 on Interstate 40. Then it passed mile marker 313. Then it never appeared at mile marker 314. The truck went missing in a stretch of road with no exits, no towns, no rest stops, and no side roads. Satellite images showed only desert. There were no tire marks on the road, no signs of braking, no sign of a crash, nothing. The truck had disappeared completely. When the receiving facility in Reno expected delivery and the truck never arrived, they contacted Atlas Logistics. The company attempted to call David. His phone went directly to voicemail. GPS tracking on the truck was unavailable. Someone had disabled the tracking unit. At 1:20 p.m., authorities were notified. At 3:10 p.m., state police began aerial search. At 5:40 p.m., the Department of Homeland Security joined the case. The cargo was considered critical to national defense. Search teams scanned hundreds of miles of highway. Drones searched desert terrain. Helicopters flew grid patterns. No truck tire tracks were found. It looked as if the entire vehicle had been removed from the world. May 6, 2018, 9:22 a.m. A search helicopter spotted something unusual in the desert, nearly 11 miles off the main highway. The white trailer was there, but the truck cabin was gone. The trailer doors were open. Inside, it was empty. No crates, no pallets, no military microchips. The desert sand around the trailer showed tire tracks, but these tracks were not from one vehicle. There were tracks from several vehicles. Heavy-duty transport vehicles, likely flatbed trucks. This was not a crime of opportunity. This was organized, prepared, calculated. There had been a second team involved. Inside the trailer, investigators found no fingerprints, no footprints, no personal items, no signs of rushed movement. Everything was done with precision. The tracking device was removed. The trailer seal was cut cleanly. The loading conditions suggested lifting machinery had been used to remove the crates. This operation required industrial equipment, several trained people, precise timing, knowledge of the truck's route and schedule. Someone had studied Atlas Logistics carefully. This was not a random theft. Police searched David's apartment. It was almost empty. Inside were a bed, a dining chair, a coffee maker, 4 shirts, 2 pairs of pants, a pair of work boots, a wall calendar. The calendar had no notes, no appointments, no reminders. However, in a drawer, police found maps, many maps, marked with routes, fuel stops, border crossings, remote mountain passes, small cargo ports, places where surveillance was low. There were no names, no written notes, just routes. He had studied these for months, maybe years. This was not sudden. Investigators expected to find bank transfers, large withdrawals, or unexplained deposits. They found nothing. David had no savings, no investments, no credit card debt, no large purchases, no hidden accounts. His financial life was flat and uneventful. If he was paid for this job, it was not paid through banks. It was likely paid in a way that left no trace. Authorities contacted border agencies. At 10:42 p.m. on May 5th, the day after the disappearance, a person matching David's physical description crossed the border into Mexico on foot near a remote crossing point with no official checkpoint. The man carried no luggage. Local cameras captured a figure walking calmly. The footage was grainy, but the body shape, height, and walking style resembled David. From that point, the trail went dark. Authorities still cannot fully explain how a man working alone could move $120 million in secure cargo. The leading theory is that David did not plan the theft alone. Instead, he may have worked with a private buyer. This buyer could have been a foreign government, a private defense contractor, a black market technology broker, or a corporation operating outside legal limits. These groups have money, transport equipment, and strong motivation. David may have been the delivery point, not the mastermind. But there is one detail investigators found strange. David did not seem to care about money, did not try to improve his lifestyle. He did not show signs of greed. This leads to a different theory. He did not steal the cargo for profit. He may have stolen it to disappear. Some believe he wanted a new life, a new identity, a new beginning away from everything he once knew. He may have seen the theft as his only way out of a life of silence, repetition, and isolation. No one can confirm this, because David Harper was never found. 2 months later, in July 2018, a small boarding house owner in a rural village in Colombia reported a guest who resembled David. The guest spoke little Spanish, he paid in cash. He stayed for 2 days, then he left before sunrise. No documents, no trail, no trace. It was the last possible sighting. Authorities believe David may be living in a remote area with a new identity. He may be working quietly, maybe on farms, maybe as a mechanic, maybe as a driver again. He may live with a changed name, a different appearance, a past no one can uncover. The $120 million in military microchips has never been recovered. None have been traced. None have appeared in black market seizures. None have been found in foreign equipment. It is as if they disappeared along with him. A desert highway in the early morning light. A truck moving through empty land. A driver with no attachments. A cargo worth more than anything most people will ever touch. And a decision that changed everything. One man, one truck, one disappearance so clean that no one has been able to solve it. David Harper drove into darkness, and then he was gone. The world still waits for answers. The road remains silent.